Yes, lads, what is going on?
My name is Amy O'Donoghue.
People call me Dr. Josh.
My name's Lewis O'Loughlin.
My name is Izzat O'Donnell.
I'm Charlie O'Donovan.
I'm Abdullah Jill.
I'm Scott Fagan.
I'm Mark Conrad.
My name's Cormac Dalton.
I'm Paul Byrne.
I'm Michael Morgan.
More than a runner.
The Irish Hammer.
My name's Brennan.
I'm Brian Fay.
It's Dash Bar.
I am a triathlete.
Craig Engels.
Cheryl Nolan. Sean Donoghue. John Rankin.
We got 10th at the World Championships in 2019 in Doha.
I'm doing great. Just happy to be on the podcast.
I'm a Man United fan.
Let's get into this episode of the podcast. Yes, lads, what is going on? And welcome to Season 4, Episode 9 of The Running Irishman. In this episode, it is just a solo episode. Haven't done one of these in a while, in a few months now. There is actually quite a bit to go through, and in terms of it being a solo episode, it will be quite a long episode. So I have my mini athletics athlete fuel bottle here. Shout out to Mini Athletics for supplying us with that to keep my voice nice and lubricated as such during the course of this episode, because obviously because I'm on my own, I'm doing all the talking here. So yeah, that is the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing is I wanted to thank everyone for the support lately on the channel. It has been absolutely insane. The airport vlog, the airport vlog and the European Athletics vlog, or European Championships vlog, where I got to interview athletes like Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Philip Ingebrigtsen, and also I videoed the day before down at the course, the Saturday before the European Cross Country Championships. Funnily enough, right, I actually have video clips. I have footage of the actual day itself, of all the races, of everything. Of actually an interview with Scott Fagan on the day, in my camera roll, ready to be edited together and put out. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, so I will do that at some point. But the vlog that I have out for the European Championships is nearly at 900 views, which is insane. And also the last episode I put out with Cathal O'Reilly. Usually, if I don't promote the episode like straight away, it won't gather views until I actually do it. But you know, with less than 24 hours, that episode had already over 100 listens over Spotify and YouTube, which is absolutely insane as well. And also, finally, we're actually at 317 subscribers. I'm not sure if I've mentioned the subscriber count as such since we hit 300. If I haven't, I apologize, and I really do appreciate hitting 300 subscribers. And now we're over 300 at 317, and you know, 17 subscribers for such a small show or a small podcast or a small channel, whichever you want to call it, is quite significant, you know, increase from 300. So I really do appreciate everyone that has subscribed. And if you haven't, make sure to head down now and hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening to this episode of the podcast, there is a link to the channel in the show notes, so make sure to head over and subscribe. The last kind of, you know, thing outside of running, outside the injury, that I want to touch on is actually the microphone itself. So I've been tweaking it a lot since I got it, and since the last time I recorded with it. And I've kind of gotten into a lot of audio stuff, like I've liked watching the videos and everything like that, and tips and stuff. So I actually got a plug-in that you download on your computer, and it increases the bass, and it makes it more of that studio podcasty kind of sound, without, you know, affecting the actual quality. And obviously the new microphone and everything, so I think it sounds pretty good. It's a lot louder than what it used to be, which I find increases the kind of bass and gives it more of that podcasty sound again. So, and it's a lot more clear. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the audio quality has come out, and I'm sure it will impact, possibly, or fingers crossed, impact the growth of the podcast. You know, podcasts primarily to be listened to, and if the audio quality is good, then it will attract more people or make more people stick by or stick around. So yeah, that's the kind of the last thing I wanted to take care of before we jump into the actual episode. So I kind of just want to start from pretty much the last time the last time I had a solo episode of the podcast. The last time I spoke about the injury and spoke about where my running is at. So the last time we spoke was the first time I actually start running. I think that the title of that episode was like, I've started running again, ... kinda. That was the title, and that was, I'm pretty sure like the first time I start running since I got injured practically. So since then, we've come a significantly long way, to say the least. Kind of more in terms of running compared to progression in the injury, you could say. So kind of just what I have here is I've done a lot of different kind of running sessions that I have on the watch that I'm actually gonna grab right now. So since that episode went live where I just started back running, I have done a lot more running since then, and I haven't really been, keeping track of the running itself, because it was more just how I felt during and afterwards in terms of the physical injury, and not in terms of physically how fast I was running. Do you know what I mean? So I have my watch here, and I'm going to go through the last few runs that I've done, and because the watch doesn't save all of them, and just from this is from the 2nd of January, all the runs that I've done. So we start the 2nd of January at 4:45 in the evening, and I done a 26-minute run. Well, it wasn't 26-minute run, so that kind of links into one of the points I have down here, which is talk about all the different sessions I've done. So from the last time I was on talking about the injury, I was doing a 5-minute walk, 7-minute jog, 5-minute walk, 5-minute jog, and then I start doing a 5-minute walk, 5-minute walk, 7-minute a 5-minute walk, 10-minute jog, a 5-minute walk, 7-minute jog. And I was doing that for a while, and now at the moment, the last time I ran, which was Thursday just gone, I done a 2-minute walk, 12-minute jog, 2-minute walk, 10-minute jog, and that's what all of these stats or all these runs that I have down here on the watch are going to be based off. So when I say 26-minute run, it was a 2-minute walk, 12-minute jog, so that's 14 minutes, and then a 2-minute walk, which is 16 minutes, and then a 10-minute jog, which is finally 26 minutes. I ended up covering 4.54k at 5:44 per kilometer. Now remember, the time and the pace, the distance and the pace did not matter, or does not matter at all, to say the least. It's just about getting it done, but because I have the statistic here itself, I'm obviously gonna talk about and say what I actually done. So yeah, that was on January the 2nd, so 5:45 per kilometer, 4.5k. Then January the 4th, the Thursday, I done 26 minutes again, actually at 5:21 per kilometer, at 4 minutes 87 seconds per kilometer. So definitely a little bit faster that day, and covered a little bit more distance, so that is always good to see that slight bit of progression. Now on to January the 6th, we head on to 25 minutes and 44 seconds. That is, now let me take a bit a look at the notes here. That is a special one, that I'm not going to mention now at the moment. I'll leave that one until we get through all of the just normal 2-minute jog, 2-minute walk, 12-minute jog ones, and then I'll come back to January the 6th. Moving on to January the 9th, which is a Tuesday, I think. Or no, sorry, it's a Sunday. This was quite a tough one, obviously. 26 minutes, but I only done, actually no, not too bad. I done 4.75k at 5 minutes 29 seconds per kilometer. Again, emphasis on that the time and the pace is really not an important factor here, but it is obviously just good to kind of see if I am progressing in that sense. So yeah, that is always good. Tuesday just gone. I'm recording this episode on a Sunday. So Tuesday just gone. I've started doing a few of them with the team at the training. But I will, I'll talk more about the team for later on in this episode. I'll kind of dive into the team specifically itself. But yeah, that evening I done 26 minutes at 5:42 per kilometer, or 4.56k. So it is where I am running. I'll just say this. It's on the infield, inside the track, and it's laps around and around and around and around. So it is a bit tedious, and tedium does begin to set in, and it's just not the best. But being in the club around the team, this is just a quick point about it. It is a lot better than just doing it at home, to say the least. Moving on then to moving on into Thursday. We done the same again, 26 minutes, 4.52k at 5 minutes 45 seconds per kilometer. Actually done this one with my mate, because obviously I'm not going that fast. A few of my mates who haven't been who don't do running, who want to kind of just get a bit fit, are able to actually jump in because, the pace isn't fast at all. So that is quite good. So I felt good that day, and that was on the pat as well. Actually, talking about the pat, this isn't actually in my notes at all. But if you follow me over on the RunningIrishman.official Instagram, you will have seen that I actually picked up a pair of Nike Tempo Next Percents, and I've run on them 2 or 3 times, and I've been really enjoying running them on the pat, and it kind of just because I ran most of my the ones I did do on the pat, I ran most of them in the Nike Tempo Next Percents, so that kind of just got me, refreshed my memory and got me thinking of it again. But yeah, I'll go back now to January the 6th, and this is and kind of tell you why this is the kind of special one in a sense. So as you could have seen or heard from the last few stats, or the last few runs that I read out, they were all 26 minutes, but this one specifically was 25 minutes and 44 seconds. And I ended up actually covering 5.01k at 5 minutes and 8 seconds per kilometer. So not is only the shortest time by around 16 seconds, it's also the longest distance by about 500 meters, and it's also the fastest pace by about 35 seconds off per kilometer. And that is because my physio actually wanted me to do a 5k or a 26-minute run before I went back to see him. And I done this 5k Thursday 2 weeks ago, thinking that Saturday I was in the physio, but it was actually yesterday. So obviously, as I said, I'm recording this on a Sunday. It was yesterday, that Saturday the 15th of January. It was the following week after the 5k where I was actually going to see the physio. But hey, I got it done and out of the way, I suppose you could say. So I'm gonna talk about this 5k specifically just for a moment, and how I felt during it. So again, I was doing them in the Nike Tempo Next Percents, felt pretty good in them, but in terms physically and especially in the injury, how I felt running for 5k on the pat specifically, for the first time in well over a year. Never mind doing running on the pat for the first time in a while, because most of the runs that I do are on the grass or have been on the grass, but actually doing the longest distance 5k in well over a year, specifically the 5k in well over a year. So At the start, I remember I could feel my right knee a tiny bit, but that kind of always happens at the start of the runs or the sessions that I'm doing. One of my knees is a little bit sore, and once I kind of get going, that pain goes away, and that's pretty much similar to what happened on that Thursday doing the 5k. So it started off, actually didn't feel pretty good starting off. So obviously I've been saying emphasis on the times and whatnot, but my physio said do a 26-minute run or a 5k. So in my head, that was do a 5k in 26 minutes. And I know that sounds pretty stupid, but that's kind of just, it was a little goal, I suppose, I set myself. And yeah, it's good to set yourself them kind of goals during injury. So that's what I done. So I went through, obviously the pace, 5 minutes, 8 seconds per kilometer, a 26-minute 5k. For me, normally I'd be doing like 21-minute 5ks on my long runs, my 50-minute runs, but because obviously I haven't been running, my fitness isn't there at all, and I went out and I wasn't feeling great, but I kind of stuck to the pace. I could kind of feel my right knee. There was patches where I felt alright, and then there was patches where in terms of physically, not in terms of the injury, where I felt pretty bad. And then by the end of it, the pain in my right knee was gone. My Achilles didn't flare up during the run at all. And that's kind of another side thing I want to touch on, in the sense where my Achilles, now when I get back on the track, training on the track, doing the strides, this is where actually my Achilles only ever affected me, was doing strides before a session. And that's the only place they ever bothered me. And now that I know how to stretch out my Achilles and I'm doing my calf raises and stuff like that, it's helping me to get, feel better, make my Achilles feel better and not flare up before the sessions. But yeah, my Achilles haven't flared up at all for any of the runs that I have done. For any of the runs that I've done since starting the runs back that my physio had given me. So that is a positive. But as I mentioned there slightly for a second, my Achilles only ever flared up when I was doing strides before a session on the track, and this was before I knew how to stretch my Achilles. So it will be interesting once I get back on the track to see if my Achilles will flare up again. And just before I jump back in to talking about the 5k and how I felt during it, we have a question here over in the Twitch chat. If you're watching or listening to this episode after it goes live, twitch.tv/TheRunningIrishman1, down in the description and the show notes to come by, listen to the episode early and ask questions like this viewer here. So the question is aims for this year. I'm definitely gonna go more in depth into this when closer to the end of the episode, but kind of quickly to answer the question, I would say it would be, if I do any track sessions this year, or this track season, because I'll definitely be back running with the team this year, but if I do any track sessions this track season, which 99% sure I will, but if I do, it will primarily be to get fit, or get as much fitness in and as much speed in as I can for cross-country season. So because I won't be fit enough at all to probably even race, or if I do race, do well in any races. So this track season is primarily just to get fit for cross-country season, and that's if I'm back with the team by the time track finishes and cross-country starts up again. Because my goals would have been to, run my proper age for the steeplechase like a few of the lads on my team did this year. I didn't get the opportunity because once my age started racing steeplechase, I got injured. So that would have been my goal. But yeah, get as fit as I possibly can for cross-country season. That is literally my only goal. Well, even smaller than that is to get back feeling good, pain-free, I want to say. And the reason I'm hesitant towards that is because, again, I'll touch into that more later in the episode, I am quite hesitant in saying get pain-free, quote-unquote, as such. But yeah, I do want to get back training with the team, feeling as good as possible, and also to get as fit as I possibly can for this for next cross country season, because as I mentioned, I won't be anywhere near fit enough to race, or if I do race, do well in any races. So moving on back into the 5k. I know we kind of got off topic a little bit there. As I mentioned, a little bit of pain in my right knee at the start. That went away. Wasn't feeling fresh and was feeling quite stiff. Not stiff, but it was kind of foreign to my body again, as you could say. By the time I got back into the track, so I started at the track in the club. I done it up in the club. I didn't do it at home on my own. Even though I was running on my own, I done it up in the club. I started in the club, came out. Basically, our club does a 5k cake race every year, and that is the lap that I done. So it comes actually back into the track, and when I came back in and onto the track, I was finished, to say the least. I was in absolute bits. Not like pain. I was just really, really tired. I was absolutely knackered, and I was really slowing down. I wasn't starting to push myself. Actually, I will confess as such, and say that I walked a little bit when I got on the track. That's primarily because obviously I'm unfit, but it was really windy and rainy, so that was just draining me as well. So I walked a bit while I was on the track and start running again. I didn't stop my watch. I kept the watch running while I was walking, and then it I don't know whether the watch wasn't accurate or the loopy-doo for the cake race isn't accurate, but I actually done a lap of the track, and then I still had a couple of minutes left to do, so I went back out of the stadium and then ran down the road and came back in a different entrance, and then I was done in 25 minutes 44 seconds. So that's how I felt during it. Not good at all, to say the least, but the actual main part is how I felt after it. Kind of during it, as I mentioned, Achilles didn't flare up, didn't feel tight, could feel my right knee slightly, but that was pretty much it. Afterwards, and this is what my physio has kind of been saying to me, is all about how I react to the running and to the training that I'm doing. So when I first finished and I start walking, I was fine. Once I start standing around, I was standing around, and it was because the lads were doing a road run and it was a 10k, and I was only doing a 5k, so I was standing around with the coach, actually waiting for a lift home and waiting for the lads to come back to the stadium. Naturally, as you would, your legs would start to get stiff. Not only did I just finish running and they start getting stiff, but in the cold as well, it's natural then for them to become stiff. So my muscles started becoming stiff, and then my right knee, the pain that was in that was it was slightly there, even slighter than it was on the run, but then it was still slightly there. I could feel it every time I'd move or such. My Achilles were grand, a little bit tight, but that's just obviously because they were stiff after running, so I stretched them out, and then I was pretty much grand, to be honest with you. And this is kind of a point that I wanted to touch on, is with this injury, when I'm kind of in two minds with the injury, and I'll say why. Because when I first start getting these knee and Achilles pains, the knee pains were only in the warm-ups on early morning sessions, because I'd just gotten up out of bed, my legs the blood wasn't flowing in my legs, I was feeling stiff, obviously just after getting up out of bed. And then in the evening sessions, I was grand, like on a Tuesday or Thursday, I was fine. The only reason I stopped running because of my knees was because one Sunday session, and I've touched on this countless times on the podcast, one Sunday session, I was warmed up and everything, and I was doing a session and my knees were in severe pain. Went to the doctor, got the insoles. Obviously, again, I've mentioned this stuff numerous times. Got the insoles, put the insoles in my shoes, went out running, and my knees were in bits, and that was in the evening. So that's what I'm in two minds about it in terms of the knees, because the first half of the injury, my knees only ever hurted me in the morning sessions, but then the the second, the other reason I'm in two binds is the second half is because when I got the insoles in, my knees were still really sore, and that wasn't in a morning session. That was just me going out for a jog in the evening. So yeah, that's why when my knees aren't sore in the evening, I'm not too excited about it. So just like the Achilles, where I need to see how good they really have come, I'll need to wait till I'm in spikes on the track to see how far my knees have come. I'm gonna have to wait until I do an early morning session and see how they react to that, because if it's the same pain, the same slight pain as it is now when I'm running in the evening, that will then show how far my knee pains and as well as the Achilles pains have come, because I still do feel slight pain, and again I will get more into that as we go on in this episode. But yeah, that's why after the 5Ks especially, I wasn't like too over the moon in terms of in terms of not having too much pain. So again, that's why I'll need to wait until I get to a morning session to see how my knees react there. So that is the 5K, and that is pretty much the runs all wrapped up and yeah, moving on now. So we are going to move on and talk about the physio specifically. So since the last time we spoke about the injury, my physio exercises have changed so many different times. What was I doing? I was doing the lunges. I was doing the lunge hops, and I was doing the weighted calf raises on this step. Specifically them exercises, I'm still actually doing them. But I have swapped over. I've gained, as you could say, 3 more exercises. I am now doing wall sits. Sorry, I forgot them there for a second. I'm doing wall sits. I'm doing single leg weighted squats on a step. I'll talk about them now. And I'm doing knee extensions. So, the wall sits, the reason I got these 3 extra ones is actually because my kneecaps start cracking, and I suppose this could be all because of the whole way of growing, I suppose. But yeah, my kneecaps actually start cracking, and the kind of little muscle, or the little bit, the little soft spot, I suppose, just underneath my kneecap or underneath anyone's kneecap, start becoming a little bit tender and a little bit sore. It's not affecting my running at all. It was just a little bit annoying. So, as well, these exercises are going to help the inside of my knees where the main pain is, and because it's building muscle, overall muscle around my quad as well. But the wall sits and the single leg weighted squats on a step really do target the and really do activate that little area on my knees there. So I do 3 by 12 single leg weighted squats on a step on each leg. They're quite tough. They're definitely tough. Actually, they're really tough. But they're this second set with the knee extensions, the single leg weighted squat on the step, and the wall sit are actually the easier out of the 3 by 15 weighted lunges on each leg, the 3 by 30 second alternative lunge jumps, and the weighted calf raise on steps. This set is actually a lot easier. Then I do 5 sets of 40-second 70-degree wall sits, and then 3 sets of 10 knee extensions on both legs as well. I really do actually like the wall sits, because they're not too hard, but they're just hard enough for that they're doing something, but you can actually kind of enjoy them at the same time. So yeah, I'm actually done physio now. I finished up yesterday actually for the last time. So, well, actually, I have another session booked in exactly a month's time. Between the physio yesterday and the last one was actually a month as well. So yeah, I have another one booked for a month's time, and the physio was saying primarily that's just for that is just if the pain gets any worse to go back to him. But if the pain stays the same as it is now, just continue what I'm doing and slightly progress in the running. And that's kind of the next thing I wanted to touch on was my progression in the running. Just taking a sip of my athlete's fuel here. So, my progression in the running. So, as I mentioned at the moment, I'm doing 2-minute walk, 12-minute jog, a 2-minute walk, a 10-minute jog. And no disrespect at all to my physio. He is honestly unreal. Obviously, he's the only physio I've ever had. But the way he listened to me, the way felt like I was able to be honest with him, and the progression he's allowed me to see within my injury has been absolutely incredible. But he isn't a runner. He is actually a football player. When he did play sports, so compared to other runners who go to running specific videos, he isn't aware of the training that I was doing, like the way I'm aware of the training that I'm doing, or the way my coaches were aware of the training I was doing. So he gave me, and he knew that. He knew that I knew what running I could take at the point I'm at now. And even though I'd love to obviously go back and start doing all the sessions again, I know that's just obviously not the way to go about it. So he was saying to, keep upping it by 10%, 10%, 10%. Each time I feel like the running is getting too easy. But because obviously the stuff I'm doing now is more quote unquote session like shorter, faster stuff. And because I'm going to, this kind of decision I've made because I'm more running tuned in terms of how to get back into it after an injury than maybe my physio would be. He'd obviously be more how to get rid of the injury, full stop. I'm more how to actually then get back into the running. And we've spoken about this. I've asked him, is it okay to do this and this? And he was like, you know what you can take. You know what your body can take. So I'm not just being reckless or stupid about it. So what I've decided is, because I'm a longer distance runner, I'm going to scrap the kind of shorter and fast stuff for now. And because I'm doing 22 minutes in total of running, because it's 26 minutes, but that's a 4-minute walking period, I'm going to scrap that extra 2 minutes and just, for the moment, do easy 20-minute runs. I'm going to be doing these for a long time, like a month or two, I'd say. Maybe a month, and then I'll start going up in very short amounts. He said about 10%. So the next time I'll up it, I'll probably do 22 minutes or something like that. You know what I mean? So, and then I'm gonna leave kind of the more intense training until I actually get back with my team. To then, I kind of just want to have a base level of fitness now, and then when I as I said, get back with the team, I'm going to then try and focus on the more intense stuff that will actually get me, race ready or something like that. So that's what I'm going to decide to do now. I'm going to decide to do 20-minute runs, whether it's on the grass. Will be 99% of the time I'll be on the grass. But I'm also, the reason I'm implementing doing runs on the pad as well is because when I get back with the team, I'm going to be doing runs on the pad. I'm going to be doing warm-ups on the pad. I'm going to be doing cool-downs on the pad. I'm going to be doing road runs with the team on the pad. I'm going to be doing some of my own 45, 50-minute runs, my 75-minute runs on the pad. So I am trying to stay in touch with that, in the sense where I I want to get my body back used to running on the path. So that's why every now and then I am doing a few of my runs on the path. And yeah, I am really looking forward to getting back, doing a little bit of proper running stuff to start gaining fitness. Because a lot of the running that I have been doing was just primarily to see how my body reacts, you know what I mean? But yeah, I am looking forward to getting back into actually gaining fitness. So fingers crossed, all going well. I'll be able to consistently do this with a slight bit of pain. And that's something I want to touch on, is I amn't actually 100% injury free, if you know what I mean. I still have my left Achilles especially still flares up when I haven't stretched it out enough, or if I haven't stretched it out at all, or B, I running it and it just flares up naturally. So that left Achilles especially, my right one lately it hasn't flared up at all, but my left one definitely has. And my knee pain, as I mentioned, my kneecaps, they've been a little bit sore, and but they haven't been affecting my running. But in terms of my running, the inside of my knees, generally day to day, they're still a little bit sore from time to time as well. When I'm running, they're still generally sore a little bit from time to time. I have another text in the chat here over on Twitch, is what time did I get for the 5k? Sorry, I missed that first bit. I ended up getting a 25:44 for an easy enough effort. Like when I was fit and stuff, it would have been an really easy effort. But now with my fitness gone, it was quite a tough effort. So yeah, 25:44. But as I mentioned, the emphasis was not on the time. It was primarily on the getting it done, see how my body reacted. So yeah, that's the time that I got for the 5k. Thank you for your question. Now, before I wrap up the episode, I want to kind of just talk about getting back with the team. As I mentioned briefly, just touched on there that I start doing a few of my runs on the infield while the lads, this is only on a Tuesday now, while the lads were doing their run on the track. So they would go out, do a 20-minute run. It would be a run / warm up. I would be warming up. I'd be talking to my new coach. Actually, my new coach is the coach that I had for steeplechase training last year. So I'd be spending time talking to him, getting warmed up. The lads would come back. They'd start their stretching and whatnot, and then they would get into their they'd get into their bit of running on the track while I'm on the infield doing my little bit as well. So yeah, as I mentioned, I kind of just like being up in the club, like being around the team, in the club, with the atmosphere, with the whole running atmosphere, having people around you running as well. It's just a lot easier to deal with the running when everyone else around you is running. So yeah, that is the reason why I've started going back up to the club since the break. I'm not with a few of the lads moved up age group with me. Obviously the lads that are old enough. But then the younger lads with Mick, who are still going up to Trinity, I might go back up to Trinity with them. Obviously not do the session or anything with them, but I might go back up to Trinity. Mick said it'd be no bother just to hop up with him, just because it's a bigger field, so it's not as tedious just running around in like a 300-meter grass football pitch. So I might start doing that. A lot of the lads, actually not everyone is back yet, so I'm injured. I'm obviously up in the club doing my runs at the same time as the lads are doing their session, but I'm not in the session at all. Like technically, if I wasn't there, it wouldn't make any difference to the session. There's another lad who's out with shin splints. Well, it started off shin splints. I'm not too sure what it is now at the moment. But he's out with quite a serious injury. Another lad who just came back after having COVID. Another lad who had a calf injury, who has a calf injury. Another lad who is just back after a calf injury and having COVID. and another lad who is doing something outside of running at the moment on Tuesday. So the team isn't fully formed yet. There is a few new lads who have joined the team, so that is always good as well. A few new older lads, and then there's the lads who have been on the team since last year. So the team hasn't fully formed. It isn't in its final state yet, you could say. It's still a while till everyone's, grinding and grafting away at the sessions. But no, I am really, really looking forward to now kind of slowly but surely starting to grind. And that's one thing I don't want to get sucked into, is getting back, really wanting to get back into it. Obviously, I do want to get back into it, but I just want to, I'm going to have to contain myself, I suppose, and take it slow and really, take my time and prevent the pains that are still there from getting any worse, because it's all about maintaining the pain that's there at the same time trying to make it better. We're just either stay where I am or get better. I'm just trying to avoid getting worse at all costs. So that is the main aim for the moment. I'm continuing, even though I finished up my physio, going and visiting the physio and speaking to him in person. Obviously, if there's any time I wanted to go back to him, if there was something I had to ask or the pain started coming back getting worse, I could most definitely do that. But yeah, for now, there's pretty much nothing else he can do for me. So I'm continuing to do them exercises that he gave me. But I also asked, will I be able to start back up the gym? And he said, continue doing the exercises that he gave me, continue slightly increasing my running bit by bit, and then see about starting up the gym. Do it, see how I feel, and if I feel like I'm getting better and it's helping me, then definitely implement it into my routine. So that is definitely something I am looking forward to, is starting up the gym, and as I mentioned, starting back the grind again of getting fit and getting running and getting the team back together with all the lads. It's felt like forever since I've been part of a proper team, and now that I'm starting to get back, more lads are getting out with injury. So as I mentioned, I'm looking forward for the team to be getting back together and becoming a team again, and everyone working hard and racing well and having a good track season this year. But the main focus for me anyway is getting a good cross country season next year. So that is pretty much gonna do it for this solo episode of the podcast. For a solo episode, it is quite a long one, just over 40 minutes. So as I mentioned, there was a lot to go through and a lot to talk about. But I hope I have updated you all enough. If there's anything else you want to ask, make sure to head over to the RunningIrishman.official Instagram, link down in the description and in the show notes. I'm not too sure about the next solo episode I'll do specifically for the in terms of the injury and running, because for the next while, without my physio giving me new exercises, and with my running slowly just progressing for the next few months, I don't think it'll be until maybe I do my first bit of training with the team or I start back the gym, will probably be the next time I do a solo episode specifically talking about training and the injury. I could definitely do a solo episode of the podcast talking about something else, whether it's something that happens in the running world, whether it's the Oregon 2022 World Championships that I'm really, really looking forward to. But yeah, if something does come up about the injury, I will make sure to let you all know and keep you all up to date on that front. If it's something small that wouldn't, take a whole episode of the podcast to talk about, I'll probably post it over on the Running Irish and the official Instagram that I've mentioned. So definitely do make sure to give me a follow to stay up to date over there about everything that's going on in my running career and the injury. So yeah, I do hope you all enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I hope I did answer any of the questions or queries anyone had about my injury, because I have been getting some text over on Instagram about how it's coming on and how I'm feeling. So I do really appreciate that. And again, I do really appreciate over 300 subscribers and the support on the latest episodes of the podcast, and also the latest vlog that I put out. So I do appreciate all the support. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. I do hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.